why is my inventory off, you might be asking yourself. Well, in my experience, it usually boils down to not recording what you did when you did it. So let's track this down though. How do you figure out who's not recording the inventory and at what step are they missing? The clue is your inventory software regularly reporting too high, or is it regularly reporting too low? So let's look at too high first. If your inventory software is higher than what is physically in inventory, then what step did they miss? So physical inventory is too low, inventory software is too high. That means they didn't record a pick, a ship, or a consumption. Those are the activities that reduce inventory. And if the physical inventory was reduced but not recorded, your inventory is going to report too high in the software but physically be too low. So look for, in that scenario, who's doing the picking, who's doing the consumption of the production, or who is shipping out, who's reducing the inventory. Now, if your inventory software has an audit trail, a lot of the times you can see the user performing certain activities and their name will be stamped on the activity. This means when you set up users and user rights, be sure not to share users and have. This helps people be accountable for the activities that they perform. Now let's look at the opposite scenario. Physical inventory is too high, inventory software is reporting too low. The two ways that inventory get into the system are receiving or at closing of production, if we're talking about finished goods, right? If we're producing finished goods, we're not closing out the inventory. But let's look at receiving. That's the hottest spot. Receiving can create a snowball of problems if we do it wrong or we don't do it at all. So if receiving wasn't recorded, physical inventory is going to be high, software is going to be too low, and then what's going to happen? After you've discovered that this is the problem and certain people aren't getting their job done and recording, you've pinned it down, we can talk about what problems result from not recording the receipt of inventory. So physical inventory is higher than the software, then the sales reps have inventory that they can sell that they don't know about. So they're not going to sell something you don't have, so you could lose sales. Production depends on if it's a raw good or a finished good. So if we're talking about receiving, it's probably the raw good that is physically high but in the software low. The production manager is going to think that he's still short because he's looking at the software to make his decisions, and he thinks that he's still waiting for it and he can't be produced. But the biggest problem is someone might come out later and discover that the software is off. Maybe they did a spot check, or maybe he overheard the sales rep complaining, "Where's my products?" He discovers that he's got the rights to cycle count, and he cycle counts it in. Why is that bad? Well, he just fixed the inventory, right? The inventory is accurate now, right? Yeah, but it still was never received, and someone's going to discover that and see this purchase order left open and realize that it hasn't been received. They're going to ask around, and someone's going to say, "Oh yeah, I received that. Sorry, I forgot." And then it'll be received. Now we've got a cycle count adjustment increasing inventory and a receipt increasing inventory, and now your inventory is too high and it's a mess. Hopefully this video helped you think things through and helped you see what to look for when trying to figure out why your inventory is off. There's so many advantages of having accurate inventory. You can really rely on purchasing tools. It's probably the biggest advantage. Subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this. Comment below. I'd love to hear your horror stories of why your inventory is off or what you discovered you were doing wrong. Be sure to like this video if it was helpful. If your inventory software is set up right and it's used right, your inventory will be accurate.